This is a complete guide to nominee director service in Singapore. What happens is foreigners, when they are incorporating a company in Singapore, in most of the circumstances, they have to take the nominee director service from the corporate services provider company. And at that point of time, they have a lot of concerns because they see this as a bit of unusual arrangement. And all those questions I'm going to address in this presentation. So let's start. And the agenda is what is the local director requirement? What is the nominee director then in Singapore parlance? How about using your friend, relatives as nominee director of your company? And the concerns promoter and nominee director has about each other. Relevance of KYC, especially when nominee director service is involved. Nominee director indemnity agreement, what is typically included in nominee director service, and conditions for using our nominee director service. So let's begin and let's first understand what are the local director requirements. Now, if you are incorporating a company in Singapore, then you need to have few things ready with you. And those are, first is minimum one shareholder is required. This shareholder can be either resident, that is staying in Singapore, or he or she can be a foreigner, and you also obviously need a minimum $1 share capital. The next thing that you need is a minimum one locally resident director. Any additional director is okay, or foreign directors are also allowed, but minimum one local director is required. You also need a company secretary who is locally resident, and you also need a registered address for the company. And that registered address cannot be post box address. So one of the questions somebody asked me, why Singapore needs a local director when some of the jurisdiction like Hong Kong does not require a local director. So local director tend to be like a local contact person for the company. What happens in those jurisdictions where local director requirement is not there, it is seen that many a times foreigners incorporate the company, then they go back to their home country, and afterwards they totally forget about this company in, let's say, in Hong Kong. So there is a high incidence of companies which are neglected by the promoters, and then Hong Kong Corporate Authority routinely issues notices to close all these companies forcefully. So Singapore wants to avoid this kind of situation, and they want somebody who is answerable for each company, and that person has to be locally resident. So in case foreigner is not taking right action, then in that circumstances this local person can be asked to take necessary precautions. So if you see all these requirements, the requirements of minimum one local resident director is a problem for the people who are foreign promoters. If you are from Singapore, obviously this is not an issue because you can become the local director of your company and fulfill this role. But foreigners are not typically residing in Singapore, and they possibly don't have anybody who can act as the local director of the company. And this is where the nominee director service comes into picture. So what is the nominee director service? So nominee director is a business service offered to foreign promoters who intend to incorporate a company in Singapore. So the companies like us who provide these secretarial services will provide a person to act as a local director, obviously for a fee. This local director will be either Singapore resident, permanent resident, or will be a Singapore citizen. So perfectly legally compliant. The fee normally ranges between 1800 to 24 Singapore dollars per year, depending upon the service provider, and some companies will also take a deposit of 2000 Singapore dollars additionally. So nominee director in summary is a service that you don't have a local director, so we provide one person to act as your local director. And with this, obviously, you can comply with the requirement. So let's take one example of two foreigners incorporating a company in Singapore. So they are business partners, and so these are the two people. Maybe they are from somewhere in Europe or India or something like that, and they are incorporating a company, and both of them are the shareholders as well as directors of the company. Now, as you can see that they don't have a resident director and a secretary. So in these circumstances, our company will provide a person to act as the local director of the company. So there will be now three directors on the board, two from the promoter side and one from our side, who is acting in the nominee capacity. Obviously, secretary also will be appointed to take the care of secretarial duties. Sorry, moving on to the next slide. Sometimes we get a question that somebody has a friend or a relative in Singapore who is already working, staying, or whatever it is, and can they use that person as a nominee director for their company? So, when you are deciding on this matter, you need to consider 3 points, and the first point is what visa your friend is having in Singapore. Now you are a foreigner, and if you say your friend is in Singapore, then it is most likely that your friend is also a foreigner working in Singapore. So you need to really check what visa they have. If the person is Singapore citizen or Singapore permanent resident, then they can act as a local director of any company. However, if your friend is on employment pass, entry pass, dependent pass, student pass, S pass, long-term visit pass, or any other work permit, then they cannot act as a local director of any company in Singapore. Dependent pass, student pass, S pass, long-term visit pass, and work permit holders are not allowed to be director of any company. Employment pass and entry pass holders are allowed to be local director of only that company which has sponsored their employment pass, not any other company. So this is the first point that you need to check. And then the next point comes is if your friend is a Singapore citizen or PR, and because of this he is entitled to act as a local director, and if the person is in full-time employment, is there any restriction in their employment contract? So what happens is majority of the companies, when they sign employment contract, they specify a clause to prohibit other interests. What that means is they will say basically that while you are in employment with my company, you are not allowed to act as a director or partner of any other organization anywhere in Singapore. So that means if this clause is there in his employment contract, that means this person cannot become the local director of any other company. Most of the large multinational employers, large Singaporean employers will have this condition. And if this second condition is also satisfied, meaning your friend is not barred from acting as a director, then the point number 3 comes. How are your relations with your friend and relative, and what is the likely impact of anything that might happen in the company? Now, don't get me wrong, I am not saying that people purposefully ignore companies or something like that. But what happens sometimes you are quite busy, nobody has reminded you, and you forget to conduct an AGM and file annual return. So Akra sends an email to your friend because he is a local director that he has failed to conduct meeting on time, therefore he must attend director's training program. Now this is definitely going to impact your friend and relatives relations with you. So in general, we don't recommend mixing friend and relatives with business purpose, and we suggest that you always engage a professional firm for nominee director purpose. So moving on to the next slide, then we are back again to our example. So now these two foreigners and the nominee director provided by us has incorporated the company. So this is a unique situation where both these parties do not really know each other very well, but they are in a kind of a pseudo partner mode. So these two foreigners have a concern about the conduct of nominee director. So they are worried whether this nominee director will create any problems for me in my company. And this resident director has a concern, what if this company goes into problem or they violates any law in Singapore? So the typical questions that they get is, can the nominee director create problems for me? Can he take control of the company? Can he create issues for me? Obviously, this is a question from foreign promoter. They also have a question, do I need to shell out more money if my business is successful? Or will there be any other problem in these lines? And the resident director has a concern, what if company violates some of the laws? Will I be considered as responsible for the same? So to address to these issues, there are two steps that we normally carry out. So let's have a look on those. The first thing is about the KYC at the time of customer onboarding. So KYC stands for Know Your Client. I think KYC is a term now used worldwide, and in your country also at the time of opening up of business or bank account, you will have to do this KYC. Now when the nominee service is involved, we have a separate set of rules for doing the KYC. What that means is if a local person comes for a specific model, we won't worry too much about it because after all, the local person is going to be the director of the company and he is going to be responsible. But when nominee is involved, our nominee director is also involved in a way in a director role in your company. So this KYC is slightly proper, and there are basically some nationalities, some high risk industries, or some known business models which are used for, I will say, questionable practices. And we will generally refuse all those business practices or industries or those nationalities. So, this is the first step we take from our side. And the second step that we take is we sign a nominee director agreement at the time of incorporation of the company. So this agreement is signed between the promoters and the nominee director. And in summary, what it says is nominee director has no role in your business or business decision making. You and your representatives are responsible for running the business, and you are responsible for the outcome of the business activities. And nominee also states that he will not get involved in the business, he will not take any unilateral actions in your company, and he will not create any issues for you. So this KYC and nominee director agreement protects the interests of both the parties. From our side, we get an assurance that we are dealing with a proper business and genuine people. And nominee director agreement gives an assurance to you that now nominee is not going to create any issues for you. So along with that, then there are a few questions which I will quickly handle. So the first question is, do I have to give shareholding to the nominee director? So the answer is no. Singapore allows 100% shareholding by the foreigner. It has a requirement only to have a local director, nothing more. And more importantly, note it very carefully, most of the professional corporate secretary firms will not ask for or accept shareholding even if you are ready to give it, because they don't want their nominee to appear as a part of any business decision making or deriving any benefit from the operations of the company. The next question is, will nominee director have access to my company's bank account and will he be able to handle transactions? So again the answer is no. Nominee director will not take any access to your bank account. However, nominee has a right to review your bank statements periodically to get an assurance that company is being run in a good faith and in a genuine business. For example, if he sees in bank statement millions of dollars being moved from one location to other, then obviously nominee director will get worried. And the last question here is, in case things don't work out properly between you and the corporate secretarial firm or the nominee director, what options do you have? So the answer is, it's very straightforward. By a simple resolution, you can change the nominee director, because nominee director after all is an appointed officer of the company and you are the shareholder of the company, that is the owner of the company. So there is no locking or anything like that. You can just change the director. Of course, you will have to engage another secretarial firm then and appoint their person as a nominee director. Now the question is, what is the part of nominee director service? So whatever fees we charge, what is included in it and what is excluded and what exactly is available at an extra cost. So you have to first understand that nominee director services are typically charged for 1800 to 2400 Singapore dollars per year. That means the cost is actually 150 to 200 Singapore dollars per month. And for this kind of remuneration, nominee director is actually only lending his name to act as a local director. He cannot be expected to work for your company or carry out any transactions. So basically the services those are included in this price is signing bank account opening form. If you want him to visit any bank branch for opening the bank account, that also is included, but there will be extra cost applicable. Basically, any visit or any additional action of nominee director is chargeable on a case to case basis. The price also includes signing annual return after other directors have signed it. So your annual accounts, when those are completed, nominee director will sign without any extra cost. So when you sign up nominee director service, in addition to using his name, bank account opening form signing, signing annual return is included in the package. Any other signing will have to be paid, or any other visit will have to be paid on case to case basis. And this is generally the practice for every corporate secretarial firm in Singapore. For example, you might want nominee director to visit Singtel office, the telephone company, and ask him to buy a SIM card or maybe buy a telephone system. So again, there is a visit involved and the time of nominee director is involved, which is chargeable. The specific services that nominee director will never sign, or specific documents, are signing of licensing conditions. Now, if your company is subject to specific licensing, for example, you are into recruitment business or you are into travel business and that requires a license from travel authority, then in that circumstances, nominee will not sign licensing conditions. This is because signing a licensing condition gives an indication that nominee director is involved in that business. So you will need to get your own person to sign these licensing conditions. Providing personal guarantees, nominee director will never give because he doesn't want to risk his own personal wealth for anything that might happen in the company. He will not sign as a company loan guarantor. He will not sign any business contracts. So these are the things that I think this gives you idea about what nominee services are included and what is available at extra cost. Now, one more point to highlight here, that nominee director will act in his own interest unilaterally without referring back to you if he finds that company is non-responsive on accounting matters or company fails to produce accounts for filing purpose in time, or company fails to produce IRS details for tax filing purpose, or if there is failure of other directors on compliance, payments, etc. Basically, if you don't attend to these matters, then nominee director will have to take charge of the affairs of the company and he will have to file, and maybe he might decide to send the company for closure. This is necessary because if you are not attending to these matters, the matters may get out of control and ACRA may fine nominee director for lack of compliance. So he does not want any kind of risk on his name. So when you sign up for nominee director service for your company, you have to also keep it in mind that it is in your interest to comply to all these things in a timely manner. I think we are now on the last slide. So conditions for using our nominee director service. So if you have decided to use our nominee director service, obviously we will need the KYC to be completed. So you will have to provide the necessary details, fill up the form, etc. Nominee director indemnity agreements need to be signed. And there are few more things. All other services you have to use from our company. For example, you might want to have payroll service. You have employees and you want to use payroll service. So that service you will have to use from our company. Or maybe you want to use GST services, filing services. Those also you have to use from our company. Or maybe the address service you have to use ours. The reason for this restriction is that suppose that other company does not file CPF submissions in time, and if there is a fine, that fine might be on a nominee director. So we don't want to lose the control on these things when nominee director is being provided. If you are not taking nominee director service, then we don't have any problem. You can use any service provider. But so long as nominee director is from our side, all these services has to be used from our company. You also have to commit to the timely compliance, as I have mentioned, and our team will review the accounts, financial accounts of your company at the year end before filing it into the ACRA and IRS system. This is to ensure that company is working in a good faith and in a proper manner. So in summary, nominee director arrangement is quite common in Singapore. Every year approximately 15,000 companies are formed in Singapore. I think most of them are with nominee director arrangement. So you don't really need to get worried about it. There are ways to handle the concerns and it's quite a common practice.
Thank you for watching this video. This video was brought to you by Epica Consulting Singapore. Subscribe to our channel today to get notified when new videos are posted.